You know how sometimes the smell just hits you? And bam, you're back in your grandma's kitchen. Or maybe feeling incredibly, I don't know, chic.
Oh, absolutely. Sense connection to memory and emotion is incredibly powerful. Primal, almost.
Exactly. But beyond that personal feeling, there's this huge economic engine humming away. Today, we're going deep. We're diving into the global luxury perfume market. And our mission really is to pull out the key insights, the important stuff from our source material. We've got precise revenue figures, forecasts, projections.
All the good data.
Yeah, all sourced from the global luxury perfume market. Yeah. 2021-2033 growth projections report by Cognitive Market Research. So by the end of this, you'll have a real handle on the money side, the trends, basically what's happening in high-end fragrance.
And it's worth paying attention to because what's really compelling isn't just, the nice smells and fancy bottles. It's the sheer economic health of this market. It's surprisingly vital.
Right, these aren't just perfumes. They're indicators of a thriving, growing global industry. Speaks volumes, actually.
About consumer desires, global economics, all of it.
Okay, so let's start with that big picture, globally. Our source puts the market in 2021 at just over $20 billion. $20,122.6 million, actually.
A significant number to begin with.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But the projections are where it gets really interesting. We're talking nearly $26 billion, $25,816.1 million by 2025. And then a really big jump by 2033, over $42 billion. $42,491.8 million.
Wow.
Yeah. And that works out to a compound annual growth rate, a CAGR, of 6.427%. So seeing a number like that, over 6% annually for such a big market, what does that immediately tell you?
Well, what's fascinating really is that steady, strong growth globally. This isn't just some flash in the pan.
Right.
It shows a consistent expansion over, more than a decade projected out.
Yeah.
It tells us the demand for luxury perfume is not only enduring, but actually increasing around the world.
So people keep buying, even when things get economically tricky sometimes.
It seems so. It suggests maybe luxury perfume is becoming, a more accessible kind of treat or status symbol for a broader range of people. It's holding its own.
Okay, that paints a pretty healthy global picture.
Yeah.
But here's where it gets really interesting, I think.
Yeah.
Let's break down where this growth is happening. The regions tell different stories.
Oh, definitely. And if you're looking at speed, you have to look at Asia Pacific. It's really leading the charge there.
Fastest growth.
By far. I mean, look at the numbers. It started around $5.45 billion in 2021.
Okay.
Projected to hit over $7.2 billion by 2025. And then soar to over $12.6 billion by 2033.
Doubling, more than doubling.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And its CAGR is the highest of all regions, 7.283%. That's a really powerful growth rate year over year. Shows massive potential.
And digging into Asia Pacific, which countries are the main drivers?
Well, China is a huge one. Massive growth projected there from about $1.68 billion up to nearly $4 billion.
Wow.
It really points to that expanding middle class, rising incomes, and maybe luxury goods as status symbols.
Makes sense.
And India, too, showing a really significant jump. Expected to nearly triple, actually, to over $1.45 billion.
Doubling.
Japan is also very strong, set to double to over $1.6 billion. And you've also got, significant contributions from places like South Korea going from around $414 million to over $885 million. And Singapore, too, more than doubling from roughly $267 million to almost $640 million. It's a very dynamic region.
So Asia Pacific is the speed story. But Europe, it's still the biggest overall market.
Absolutely. Europe holds the largest slice of the pie, even if it's not the fastest growing. It's the established leader.
What do its numbers look like?
So it was over $7.2 billion in 2021,
Yeah.
7,244.12 million, projected to reach nearly $9.2 billion by 2025, and close to $15 billion, 14,787.1 million by 2033.
Still very significant growth.
Definitely. The CAGR there is 6.162%. So solid, robust expansion, just maybe at a more, let's say, mature pace compared to Asia Pacific.
And within Europe, you've got the traditional powerhouses.
Right. Germany shows really strong growth, more than doubling to reach over $3.25 billion.
Okay.
The UK also substantial, going from under $1 billion, 992 MZEFs to over $2.1 billion. And France, of course, iconic for perfume. It continues to grow steadily, too, heading towards $1.6 billion from about $840 million.
Right.
And then you have Italy and Spain also playing really important roles, both projected to roughly double their markets as well. Italy around $1.36 billion, Spain hitting $1.6 billion.
It's fascinating, isn't it? How Europe, with all that heritage, still maintains such a lead and keeps growing steadily. Does that suggest, I don't know, a different kind of market dynamic compared to that explosive growth elsewhere?
I think it does, yeah. Europe's growth is probably driven more by a loyal, established consumer base, strong perfume traditions.
Right, generations of buyers.
Exactly. Plus, continuous innovation from the big luxury houses headquartered there. It's maybe less about brand new consumers entering the market and more about deeper engagement, maybe trading up to more premium offerings.
Premiumization?
Yes, that, and possibly tourism playing a role in luxury sales too.
Okay, that makes sense. So from established Europe, let's hop across the Atlantic. North America, how's it performing?
Very strong performance there as well. The numbers show it climbing from just under $4.9 billion in 2021, $4,869.66 million, to a projected figure of nearly $9.5 billion. $9,475.67 million by 2033. That's a healthy CAGR, too, 5.704%.
Solid. And within North America, is it mainly the U.S. driving that?
Oh, overwhelmingly, yeah. The United States is the dominant force. It accounts for the vast majority, expected to grow from just under $4 billion, $3,944.43 million, to over $7.5 billion.
Huge market.
Massive. Reflects a strong appetite for luxury goods generally, and fragrance is definitely part of that culture. But Canada and Mexico contribute, too, showing good growth. Canada heading towards $1.1 billion, Mexico towards $800 million.
Okay. What about South America? Is that a significant region in this picture?
It's definitely growing and making its mark. Started just over $1 billion in 2021, $1,046.37 million.
Right.
And it's forecast to more than double, hitting over $2.3 billion by 2033. Its CIGR is actually quite strong, 6.781%.
So faster than North America or Europe, on average?
On average, yes. Key players there are Brazil, expected to more than double, reaching almost $840 million. And Argentina also shows strong growth, projected to hit over $414 million. So yeah, you're seeing rising disposable income and appreciation for luxury there too.
Interesting. And the Middle East, often associated with fragrance culture.
Absolutely. And the market reflects that. It's becoming increasingly influential. It climbed from about $785 million in 2021, $784.78 million, and is projected to hit $1.7 billion by 2033.
Another doubling.
Pretty much, yeah. The CAGR is strong at 6.668%. Saudi Arabia is a standout market there, projected to more than double to nearly $500 million. Turkey is also significant, heading towards $400 million, and the UAE growing strongly too, expected to pass $200 million. It ties into, like you said, deep cultural roots for fragrance, plus economic factors and a strong demand for high-end goods.
Right. Okay. Finally, let's round this out with Africa. What's the story there?
Africa shows burgeoning potential. It's growing from a smaller base, but the trajectory is positive. It was around $724 million in 2021 and projected to reach over $1.55 billion by 2033. So, again, more than doubling with a CAGR of just over 6%, 6.02%.
And any particular countries leading the way?
South Africa is a key contributor, expected to more than double its market to over $570 million. And Nigeria also shows strong growth, projected towards $255 million. It really highlights that there's an expanding consumer base across parts of Africa gaining access to and valuing these kinds of luxury items.
So, okay, if we pull all these threads together, what this data from cognitive market research really shows is, well, it's a compelling picture, isn't it?
It really is.
The global luxury perfume market isn't just, stable. It's showing remarkable, consistent, and pretty substantial growth everywhere across all these diverse regions.
The numbers really paint a picture of an industry poised for continued expansion. It's quite dynamic.
It really underscores that enduring appeal of scent and maybe luxury itself.
Which actually raises a really interesting question for you listening to this. When you see this sustained global demand, these strong growth numbers across so many different economies and cultures, what does that tell us? Does it reflect deeper shifts in how we behave as consumers? Maybe how we even define luxury now? What does all this growth mean for you, maybe as someone who buys perfume or just someone watching these bigger market trends and seeing where the money's flowing globally?
That's a great question to ponder. How our personal desires, like wanting to smell good, connect to these massive global economic currents. Fascinating stuff.
Indeed.
Well, we hope this deep dive has given you a clearer insight into the real economic force behind the world of luxury fragrance. Thanks for joining us. Until next time, keep exploring.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Deep Dive. Today, we're diving deep, really deep into the luxury perfume market. It's, a fascinating world, and it's about so much more than just, well, expensive fragrances. We're going to explore the tech, the changing tastes, the big economic forces at play. Yeah, it's quite a mix. And just so you know, all the insights we're unpacking today, they come straight from cognitive market research. They're our go-to partners for really understanding these industry trends. Our mission really is to boil it all down. What's pushing this market forward? What's holding it back? And where are the big opportunities?
It really is amazing, isn't it, how something like perfume can tell us so much, about technology, shifts in culture, economics. It's all interconnected. So yeah, our goal is to pull out the key insights, the really important bits for you from this material, give you that informed view.
Okay, brilliant. Let's jump right in then. What's really driving growth here? What are the big forces making this market, well, thrive?
Well, one of the really striking things is the rise of advanced tech, both in how the fragrances are actually made and how they're packaged. It's not just fancier spray bottles. Think like AI helping to create unique scents based on your preferences.
Wow, AI, really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Or things like microencapsulation tech, so the scent lasts longer, releases slowly. Even blockchain, believe it or not, to prove where rare ingredients came from, ethically sourced and all that. It pushes things beyond just personal to, well, properly immersive experiences.
That's fascinating stuff.
And alongside that tech push, consumer tastes are definitely changing. There's this huge pull towards niche perfumes, artisanal stuff, things that are sustainable. People want something unique, something that tells a story, and they'll pay more for it, especially if it's transparent and eco-conscious.
Right, that sustainability angle is everywhere now.
It is. And then you've got the bigger picture stuff, like more people living in cities, urbanization, and this growing middle class globally. When people have more disposable income, and they're in these vibrant urban centers, suddenly luxury items like perfumes become more desirable. They're part of expressing your identity, your aspirations.
So it becomes sort of a status symbol, but also very personal, too?
Exactly. It's both a key part of that aspirational lifestyle.
Huh. It's really interesting how these big sort of societal trends link directly back to something like a bottle of perfume. So, okay, considering all the tech, the changing tastes, the economics, what does this mean for the brands themselves? How do they stay ahead?
Well, it means constant innovation, constant adaptation. They can't just rely on the brand name anymore.
Right. But it's not all smooth sailing, I imagine. No market is. So what are the hurdles, the things holding it back? This is where it gets interesting, looking at those market restraints.
Definitely. Price is always a factor, isn't it? Especially at the true luxury end. I mean, these are expensive products, and that naturally limits who can buy them. Simple as that. Although, what's kind of surprising is, even with inflation globally, the super luxury segment, we're talking perfumes over, say, $500, that's actually held up really well. Demand is still strong at the very top.
Interesting. So the ultra-wealthy are still spending.
It seems so, yes. But for broader luxury, price sensitivity is definitely a restraint. Then you've got regulations. This is a big one. Governments, particularly in places like the EU, are getting much stricter about ingredients. Things like potential allergens, environmental impact. Take oak moss, a classic ingredient. It's facing tighter restrictions. So brands have to scramble, find alternatives, maybe synthetic ones that smell right but meet the rules. It's a real R&D challenge.
And finding those alternatives without compromising the scent, that must be tricky.
Very tricky.
Yeah.
And costly. And then there's the age-old problem.
Yeah.
Fakes. Counterfeit products. Especially in some emerging markets, you see a lot of knockoffs. And they don't just cost brand sales, they damage the brand's image, erode trust. It's a constant battle.
Yeah, that makes sense. Does the whole exclusivity thing of luxury almost encourage the counterfeit market in a weird way? Like if it's hard to get, people will look for easier, cheaper versions?
That's a really sharp point. It's a bit of a paradox, absolutely. The very desirability they cultivate can fuel the illicit market. It definitely requires complex strategies for brand protection, educating consumers. It's tough.
Okay, so challenges are clear. Price, rules, fakes. But let's shift gears. On the flip side, where are the big opportunities? What's getting people excited about the future here?
Oh, there's plenty of opportunity, too. Huge potential. Firstly, emerging markets. We mentioned them with counterfeits. But the legitimate opportunity is massive. Think Asia-Pacific, the Middle East. You've got new wealth creation, young populations, different cultural takes on luxury. They're not just buying Western brands. They're influencing trends, demanding different things. It's really dynamic.
So it's not just about selling to them, but learning from them, too.
Precisely. It's a two-way street now. And then product innovation itself, there's just so much scope. Limited editions are always popular, yes. But also the boom in natural, organic, even vegan fragrances. That's huge. And smart packaging. Imagine like tapping your phone to the bottle to check it's real, or getting an augmented reality experience about the scent story.
Whoa, okay. That's moving way beyond just the liquid inside.
Exactly. Enhancing the whole user experience. That's where a lot of innovation is focused. And finally, finding new customers. Untapped segments, Gen Z, for example. They have different values, different ways of discovering brands. Engaging them is key. And the men's luxury fragrance market. It's been growing steadily, but there's still, well, a lot more potential there compared to the women's market. Brands are really starting to focus on that.
It really sounds like strategy here isn't just about reacting, it's about, anticipating these big cultural and demographic shifts. Are the old ways of marketing luxury perfume changing fast for these new groups like Gen Z, or do some classic approaches still work?
It's a mix, really. The core allure of luxury, quality, exclusivity, story that still resonates, but how you communicate that, where you reach them, that has to adapt. Digital channels, influencers, values-based messaging, it's much more targeted now.
Right, makes sense. Okay, so what a journey. We've gone through the forces driving the luxury perfume market, the roadblocks it faces, and those really exciting opportunities on the horizon, all thanks to the detailed insights from cognitive market research.
Yeah, and understanding all these pieces, the drivers, restraints, opportunities, it's not just, interesting for market analysts. It's crucial for anyone in this space. It
Yeah.
just shows how complex, how strategic this market really is, but also, yeah, utterly captivating.
Absolutely. So thinking bigger picture for a moment, if we pull all this together, what might luxury even mean in, say, 10 or 20 years? And how much are our own choices, our own changing ideas about what matters going to shape that future? Something to think about, perhaps, until our next deep dive.